This is Lucas Writer, executive producer and co-writer of number 29, Dr. Bogdan Krilov. You're listening to the Blacklist Exposed on Golden Spiral Media.
Cry havoc and let slip the goats of war? Welcome to the Blacklist Exposed. I'm Agent Troy Heinrichs.
I'm going to allow you a chance to ask for forgiveness for that joke. And I'm Agent Aaron Peterson. Thank you for joining us once again as we discuss number 29 on the Blacklist. Dr. Bogdan Krilov.
Krilov.
Sure. I've heard it both ways. Written by Lucas Writer and directed by Don Thorin. The Blacklist Exposed is supported by the new Reddington watch from Leonard and Church, inspired in the style of Reven Wright himself. Don't miss your chance to own this limited edition timepiece from Leonard and Church in partnership with Sony Pictures Television and The Blacklist. Order yours today at leonardandchurch.com/blacklist. Show notes and other intel for this episode of The Blacklist Exposed can be found at theblacklistexposed.com.
Well, last week we asked you who you thought was behind the missing fingerprint. And after our very scientific poll, certified and audited by the international firm known only as the Internet, which means that this is true, we have the results. And would you guess it, that Cooper came out on top with 50% of the vote?
Why you got to blame Cooper?
I'm surprised that Cooper was the straight up winner.
By a mile.
By a mile, yeah. Samar came in 16%. Laurel Hitchins actually made it. This is surprising. Laurel Hitchins came in with 13% of the vote.
How'd she get 13%?
I have no idea.
Would she come in like a cat burglar? I don't know. She wasn't even in the episode.
Exactly. This one was added to the poll. No thumbprint was even on the thing to begin with.
I'm more inclined with that one, but okay.
That was 10%. Ressler, 7%. He was just bold-faced lion, Keen. And then Kaplan.
No. Those people are wrong.
Kaplan, 4%. She set it up from the very beginning.
Man, so apparently, don't get me wrong, I could totally see it being Cooper, but you guys like 50% of it, more than 50%, really just don't even defend him a little bit, huh? All right, just already slam the guy, convict him.
Well, I mean, look how quickly he was willing to give up that list of names in this week's episode to Reddington. The thing that he's yelling and screaming, and Reddington's bad, and you're going to sit in that chair and don't move, and all of a sudden he's just, here's a list of names. Go ahead, no problem, bud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. He's that cool. He said, "No problem, bud."
Although
he's in the 1950s Leave It to Beaver episode. Nobody speaks like that. God. Here you go, pal.
But the no thumbprint. I thought,
skip to the loo.
This one. Oh my goodness. The no thumbprint option I thought was interesting. Linda said, "I seriously think the fingerprint is a plant to trap Ressler into publicly revealing or accidentally exposing the post office task force, the beginning to the end game of them."
Well, I mean, that is an option, it turns out, this week. That not necessarily this particular way, but that was a thing. Ron Davis says, "Agree 100% that Gale guy wants to see if anyone will try to mess with the print results. They're probably just foulers."
Yeah, I mean, why would Red come in and clean the record ahead of actually sitting down in the chair and shooting Diane? It seems odd behavior.
I kind of wanted to rewatch that scene just to see. He probably did in that scene. I bet you he did, and we just didn't remember it.
That's all the way back in season 1, man.
That's your job, man. That is your job.
I did rewatch some stuff from season 2 today. So,
did you?
Yeah, I did. I have some questions based on information we've uncovered this week.
Did you freeze frame that list when they pull out the body list when Red's looking there and they start checking the names off and you see everybody on there?
I did not do that.
I did there.
No internet detective for me for that perspective. No. I'll let the other people do that have that inclination and just share it for us and do the work for us, because that makes our jobs a lot easier.
Look at other people. Dude, you do that all the time. Don't act like, no, I wouldn't do such a thing. I'm too busy living my life. You're freezing it. You're zooming in. You got to take pictures of the screen. It's weird.
Just because I did that for the Dark Tower trailer doesn't mean I do it for all stuff. Anyways.
Next week, we want you to pick a side in the war. So the profiling question is, are you Team Kaplan or Team Red? You've got enough information now you can make a decision. Which way are you leaning? Team Kaplan or Team Red?
It'll be interesting. So before Aaron goes all pink and perfect on us, let's go ahead and get to this week's case profile.
I think it's very important to note that Troy just had to work Pekin perfect in there somewhere. He's had it like 5 times in all of this discussion that we've had, and I keep erasing it, and he keeps finding somewhere to put it. So there you go. Pekin perfect, Troy.
So Mar said it twice. It's important. Anytime something comes up twice in an episode, it's important.
Okay. Dr. Bogdan Krilov, I don't know.
Before this show goes off the air, once and for all, you will say something in Russian correctly.
Nope.
Krilov.
I will not my Russian camera. That is Russian space station. How's that? I can do that one pretty well in Russian.
Berlin's coming to shoot you now.
That is Russian space station.
Peter Stormare, where are you?
Oh, we meet up with Dr. Krilov as he's using his freaky memory devices to make sure this poor sap doesn't remember the death of Mr. Saducci, I believe his name was, when he runs into Mr. Kaplan. See, this week, normally what we do is we give you the kind of like what the episode is about, the crux of the episode. Let me break down every character. Well, this week it's all about the characters. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's really just a big character piece.
If you can remember them all.
Yeah, if you can remember or pronounce their names. The plan was to use Ressler to go after Hitchins and dismantle the task force that's after Red. So I guess I want to kind of start with that whole idea. Do you think that was actually a smart plan? To take, I honestly didn't even really occur to me about how to bring the task force down.
I'm still struggling with if I was tampered with myself, because I really couldn't follow the story this week in a lot of ways, because here we have Red.
Really? I thought this was pretty
it's
easy going.
It's straightforward, but it doesn't make sense in the overall arc of stuff, because if Red is semi in control of the Cabal, then you have Kaplan, who is basically trying to get Ressler to kill Hitchin to expose the Cabal, to expose Red. I'm trying to find out what the connection is there. Why would Kaplan have Hitchin taken off the board? What purpose does that serve? And if it's not to serve the purpose of taking Hitchin off the board, then what's the purpose of Ressler getting handcuffed or locked up or whatever because he attempted to take out a Cabal member?
It's not about Hitchin. It's not about Hitchins. You really thought this was about Hitchins?
Well, she was the one that hired Dr. Krilov to do the memory implanting stuff in Ressler, right? So Kaplan is behind hiring the doctor to go after Ressler. And that's obviously to get at Red for some reason. But why target Hitchin? What's the point of targeting a Cabal member to get to Red? That's the part that seems a little hazy and fuzzy.
Not even a little bit.
Oh, you explain it then. You're so smart.
I hate to break it to you, man, but I thought it was pretty easy. The purpose was to discredit Ressler so that they could discredit the post office. They said it very clearly. That's what the intention was to do, was you take down, Liz said it, actually. You take down the Cabal, and maybe you sound like you have a cold. Maybe it's cold medicine interfering with the brain activity.
A little bit.
But that's specifically what Liz said. That because they refused her offer to step aside and let Kaplan do her thing, she's going to have to dismantle the post office and discredit them in order to basically leave Red completely exposed. And that's what they're doing. One brick at a time, Kaplan is taking apart the post office. Ressler's the first brick. Discredit that guy, make him look bad. He's already been arrested. He'll be taken off the case. Then you just go after everybody else. And eventually there's no post office to protect Red.
But how does it discredit the post office specifically? It discredits
because
Ressler.
Ressler works on the post office. If you do several members of the post office, that would discredit the post office.
I suppose, but right now Ressler's working with Gale, so really he's not part of the post office in a way. It discredits the entire investigation that Gale's doing.
No, that's an order of the post office. So the people in the higher-ups will see this very clearly, that the agents that are in charge of this Red investigation are not people that we should have running things. So he's no longer protected.
Those are the people that work for the Cabal, so it doesn't matter either way.
No,
they're just as shady.
I get what you're saying. It's not what I said. Liz said it. Liz said it in the episode. That's what the plan is. She said it.
I think it's a pretty backdoor plan and weird plan. It could have done stuff more direct, like she did with the guy that she went and paid a visit to, where Hans was murdered by Red. I think that's a more direct plan and takes it down a little bit faster.
No, if you want to bring the post office down, you go through the straightest edge first.
If you want to bring them down, just unveil the Kuwait story so that you take down Cooper, cut off the place.
You don't
in the
know
head.
that. You don't know if the Kuwait story even is anything.
It's tied to Red.
You don't know if it is anything, so that's not going to do anything. And they might already know about it. This is discrediting the most honest member of the entire organization. This is saying your Dudley Do-Right ain't so do-right. He's a little do-wrong.
He's also an addict, so it's not that great.
I guess. Man, I thought they were pretty clear on this one. But hey, that's cool. NyQuil has got you, my friend.
I follow you.
I got.
Yeah, it was a late night. Oh, man. So, good story, though.
All right, bitchy Betty. You ready to move on to the next one?
Well, I do like the Hans stuff, too, so we'll get into that with characters. So, with the
we will.
We always start with the music, and at the beginning of the episode, the good doctor is messing with Morgan's memories about Nicholas Drucci, as the rest of us hear Dreamer by Roger Hodgkinson. I don't know how to pronounce that one.
Was it Drucci? I thought it was Saducci. Maybe I'm on cold medicine too.
Sudoku, what?
I think I had Sudoku.
Oh, man. It's going to be a big one this week. Yes, so Roger Hodgson, as Dreamer, plays at the beginning. And then, what was probably the best choice ever for a song on so many levels, we hear Dream On by Aerosmith as Liz meets with Special Agent Gale face-to-face at the ice rink. Oh my gosh, don't ever do that again.
No? Does that hurt? I'm going on tour next week, by the way.
I am not going to be your roadie.
I'm sorry. I'm not really good at Steven Tyler impersonation, so I can't. Really, but I can do some Eminem. You better. I'm not going to do it here, but I can.
I just love the Dream On. Like, it's like Dream On, like, I'm not going to help you, Agent Gale, and Dream On, you're not going to be able to solve this case at all, and just give it up, and Dream On, Princess, because notice she was called Princess again in this episode. Dream On, Princess, you're not going to actually pull the wool over my eyes on this one. So I love the choice. I guess the question is, when you hear a song like this, one that's such a big song, does it...
Iconic.
Yeah, iconic. Does it pull you out of the episode a little bit, or no?
Typically in any TV show where it's an iconic song, it does. Because it's used so often in other stuff, other forms of media. But this one it didn't in particular, because I was really focused on what the Gale and Liz scene, honestly. I thought that was a really good scene. I thought they played it off really well, and Liz did a good job of trying to distract him and kind of deflect while he was right there like a shark in the water. And I thought that scene played really well.
I like the lyrics, too, for this, because it says, every time when I look in the mirror. Is there some thing we're supposed to read into that? Like, between how we're talking about Gale might be a family member, or he's in Red's mind, and he's looking in a mirror with Liz, or Liz might be looking in a mirror with him, and how their FBI careers are tied to this one man. I like the lyric for that. It was pretty cool.
Or maybe just Liz, look in the mirror, look at yourself.
Could be.
Feel guilty for all these bodies laying here,
Well, I know Aaron loves my true and false games, so I want to know from you if you know if true or false was Dream On first released in 1973.
Yes.
You would be
true.
Correct. It is true. The song Dream On was actually on Aerosmith's first debut album in 1973, but it actually didn't become popular till it was re-released in 1976 when it made the top 10.
My uncle is a diehard Aerosmith fan, so I actually knew that one.
So there you go. A little music trivia for you. Shout out to Paula for that one.
Bum, 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 bum.
All right. Moving on. What do we got
Okay.
for this week?
Well, we have characters. We have lots of characters. We've got a couple that didn't do a whole lot, so we will get through them pretty, super fast. Cooper kind of just barks orders. He's probably because he's trying to hide that fingerprint, apparently.
And give out lists of names to people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Aram didn't really do much. He does this computer hacking thing. He's finding people. He does say, I agree. These days we don't agree. I agree. And these days we don't agree on anything. That's a nice little thing at Samara, and she gives a little smirk. So you do have a little hey, we get it moment. That was cute. Little meet cute moment.
Little hanging Chad there for the fans. Like, hey, we didn't forget about this triangle problem. It's still there. I'm sure we're going to cover it in the next 3 hours, but
it'll come back. Samar, her FBI approved dress code's back. I was pretty happy with that. So go FBI. And the definitely pink or perfect that Troy is somehow obsessed with. What does that even mean?
She was just referring to Liz as not the feminine type. She definitely doesn't result to the standard feminine ways about her. She's very much the going and then Liz brings up the whole grifter concept again, so that was kind of cool. We'll throw back to Sam.
She didn't bring it up. She did a swipe because thankfully she had a rent check in there, which is she's probably going to want to get that back. I mean, I assume Tom needs somewhere to sleep when he gets when he gets home.
I'm sure Red could loan her $200 million or something.
Not this week. It's still gone. I don't think he's gotten it back yet. That's really all that happened with those three characters. They're kind of now Samara was present for most of the episode. She's actually involved in a lot of the tracking, but she didn't really get a whole lot to do. It was really Liz was the one in the case for this particular episode.
I think this is the first time we've seen the two of them together as partners, though.
Not
in like
ever,
but
in a while.
In a long time.
Yeah, in a long time.
I mean, do you like them together as partners? Would you watch that on a regular basis, or would you rather have Liz be with Ressler, or would you rather have?
You mean the two actresses? Because I would follow them anywhere. If you mean the two characters, yeah, they're fun to watch.
Okay.
Well,
I'm just curious.
If I said that wrong, one of those would probably get me a restraining order. I got to make sure I said that correctly. Yes, I enjoy their work. I would like to follow them in whatever they do. How's that?
All right. I'm just curious if you'd rather have the Liz Ressler combination, which we got a little bit of that in this episode, or if you'd rather have the Ressler and Samar kind of team up, or if you like the Liz and Samar team up this week.
Oh, which pairing do I like most?
Yeah.
Liz and Samar.
All right.
Honestly, it's Ressler's too straight-laced for me. I like a little edge, and they play off each other very well. I like those two when they're on screen together. They just have a nice dynamic, and they have a nice back and forth. Now, Ressler, I like Ressler, but he is Dudley Do-Right. So he's the character that's always going to do the right thing. He's trying to be, talk you into doing the good, do the good deed and that sort of thing. That's all fine and dandy, but that's not somebody I want to party with. If I want to watch a show, these two both, I mean, they're swapping letters, they're saying things that I don't quite understand, and they're probably willing to shoot somebody. I mean, Liz is injecting somebody, and Ressler would have been like, you can't do that. And Samar's over there going, like, you shouldn't do that. Wink, wink, get it in there. That's what I like.
All right. I still miss the Ressler and Liz days. I do. So I love that she came to his rescue. I thought that was sweet.
Oh, I like them as partners. He has a very good, solid, decent person dynamic. I'm sure just ask me which one I prefer to watch, and those two are really fun to watch together. They're fun to play off each other. Laurel Hitchins returns. Fine. What about you? I guess I should have asked. So you're the Ressler and Liz?
Yeah, I love the Ressler and Liz. I like the season 1 dynamic. I still want them to end up together at the end somehow.
I actually like Liz and Aram in the field, because Aram's always fun when he's in the field.
True.
There you go. Laurel Hitchins returns finally. We've kind of been wondering where she's been. She hasn't really been too present. Were you confused at all by the whole Ressler plot twist?
Oh no, not at all. I mean, it was cool the way it developed. I totally bought into it because you see him actually drop the cell phone underneath the thing, so you think it's all happening in real time. And then when you find out the big reveal, it's like, oh, hey, yeah, that's weird. He's not coming after Liz. He's coming after Ressler. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was a really, really nice twist for this episode specifically. On the Hitchins side, however, I was kind of disappointed in her presence only because she's such a formidable character. I was kind of hoping we'd get more out of her. But unfortunately, she was just kind of like a a pawn in this week's episode, which was kind of sad.
An important one, though. So, I mean, maybe it's because of where you're landing on the motives, but I totally understand the motives, so I'm totally behind her being here and her reasoning. Like, it all makes sense to me, and it works great. I absolutely loved her scene, her back and forth, especially with Ressler, where, hey, it's one big conspiracy, and you weren't invited to the party. I thought that was really funny. And her, when she's actually confronted by Liz, like Liz really gets in her face, like, he's innocent, you're a murderer, we just haven't proved it yet. That was a really fun character moment for me. I was glad to see her back, but I love Christine Lottie, so.
I just wish it would have gotten more with the, I mean, you have the memory doctor, the cabal, the director knew Katerina, and the fulcrum, and like all of that stuff is tied together. It's like if you're going to have Laurel Hitchin and the doctor in the same episode, there should be something bigger than this to me. I don't know. It seemed like it was almost like a brush aside. Like, haha, we're going to have the memory doctor, and we're going to have the cabal and Laurel, and we're not going to give anything to you at all in this episode.
See,
maybe.
I don't agree at all. I think we got a lot. I think this is part of Kaplan's master plan to affect not necessarily the cabal, but affect those protecting Red. And that's what was achieved here to some degree.
Okay.
So that's big to me. All right, speaking of Ressler, and it sounds like Troy, maybe did you like this episode? I should ask. Feels like you didn't.
The episode itself
like you didn't.
The episode itself is good. Like, well written, enjoyed it, had fun with it. Again, I came in with expectations. My expectations weren't met, so it's on me. Mm. I'm not saying it's on the writers, it's on me. But yeah, I was expecting a little bit more when I heard Memory Doctor. It's like, come on.
Oh, you wanted to get a little bit more juice out of that turnip, huh?
No doubt.
I don't know what that meant, what juice and turnip really have to do with each other, but I liked it, and I put them together anyway.
I know what you were meaning, so it must actually mean something.
So what were you hoping to get out of this? Like, what was the dream? What was the dream from the doctor?
Yeah, or just confirmation, and then all I got was more confusion, right? The whole, well, you'll probably talk a little bit more about this with Liz, but the whole 2 years ago comment that came up, that just seemed a little weird. But the one thing that I did pick up on, and I don't know if anybody else picked up on this, but there was a conversation right at the beginning when Kaplan comes in and the doctor's like, who are you? You can't be here, And then Kaplan says, I know you through a friend of a friend. So there's like a 2 degree of separation thing there. And then when Red and Liz are talking immediately thereafter, Red says that that's how Kaplan knew him, was from the memories from 20-some years ago. So when you put those two things together, and then you go back to season 2 where I was doing my homework, when you go back to season 2 and it's the finale and Liz is sitting on that bench and she says, I now understand why you had my memories altered because you were trying to protect me. And Red says, yes. So Red confirms in that comment, I feel that, yes, Red was the one responsible for blocking Liz's memory because Red doesn't lie to Liz if you believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go back to all of this and everything we learned in Requiem, then technically wouldn't Katerina be the one that technically would have hired the doctor to block the memory because of this traumatic event? And Kaplan would have known the doctor through Katerina because Katerina didn't really know Raymond Reddington that well. And therefore, and supposedly Raymond is dead laying on the ground in the fire burning house because Liz shot him. So,
no, because they don't say like specifically the date. I don't think that she actually did the memory thing. Just when she was a little girl. It was around.
Well, it was around
when she was 4. Yeah,
which was right around the time of the fire. So technically, Katerina would have been around at that time. This debate.
Now you're making assumptions, though. There's nothing to dictate that.
I'm just saying that it doesn't seem like Red was the one responsible, and it could throw back to the mother theory. Just saying.
All that just for that. All right, Ressler. Let's move on. Ressler, Linda McFadden, because all that was just total circumstantial evidence, all conspiracy theory nonsense. None of that actually had a specific date or fact in mind. It's just, it feels like it was about this time, da-da-da-da. There's nothing that actually says that in stone. So it's very fuzzy to me. And the 2-year thing, I think, is pretty open, right? the 2 years ago thing is actually pretty open because he says my associate. It never actually says Red, and Red denies it.
Right.
But
so,
we'll get there. So hold whatever random conspiracy theory you came up with for that one. Ressler Linda McFadden is told to be a witness to the Reven Wright murder. Ressler heads over to meet her when he sees her snatched, and he goes down, and when he wakes, he finds Laurel Hitchins there and confronts her. That's where we kind of start to... I honestly did not realize at the time he was in the memory doctor's control until they actually gave the reveal. So I'm like, what? So that was actually shame on me. I didn't get it in time.
Well, I didn't know it was happening either until the memory doctor's standing there. He says, "Get out of my car."
Oh my God, dig it.
Dang, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. It was nice. And it was good to get, you know what? It was fun to have Ressler involved in a story. He hasn't been very often this season. And I really just liked having him involved, and especially where he gets a little edge to him, because he's really taking some serious chances here. But he's doing it in the course of doing the right thing, because that's his character. He's Mr. doing his job.
I think he would have pulled the trigger, though. I think he was
With what?
I think he would have actually shot Hitchins. I'm trying to sit there like I'm playing back like was it season 5 of 24 when Jack's got the gun to the president's head and he's like, is he going to shoot him? Is he going to arrest him? Is he going to shoot him? Is he going to arrest him? I was kind of playing that with Ressler. Like, would Ressler actually shoot Hitchin, or would he arrest her? It seemed like he would actually be willing to pull the trigger.
I don't know about murder. I mean, well, he did shoot the guard, but he shot him in the leg.
Right, it's a takedown move.
That was actually pretty surprising to me. I'm like, man, could you maybe just be kneeling down and say, "Hey, drop your gun, or I will shoot you"? I mean, usually you get a warning before you shoot a guy in the leg.
Well, he could have radioed it into another person, so that's why he had to act quickly.
Oh, is that what you do, Chuck Norris? Huh?
Hey, I'm just saying. These guys are FBI trained. I'm sure there's protocol.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the protocol is drop your weapon. I'm FBI before you shoot them. I'm almost 100% certain. But hey, he was on narcotics.
Which
goes
to my question. Because he shot the guy in the leg and didn't say, "Hey, FBI, drop your weapon," would he have actually shot Laurel had he been able to go another step further?
I don't think so. I mean, you think so. I don't think so. I don't think he would have.
All right.
But I'm glad we didn't have an addiction plotline. Thank you. Apparently, he's kicked the habit. Of course, now
he was
losing his job.
just getting some drugs there. He's got a port installed, so you never know.
I'm going to need a nerve fix. So he does end up going after Hitchins, but this didn't work out. The plan was to set up the post office and make their deal with Red look bad, as
Liz explained.
As I heard it.
And you heard it, yes. I was on NyQuil.
Julian Gale, that's all right. It made for fun debate.
I was still flying in a ship with Star-Lord, so.
Oh, God. Let's just change this to a Guardians of the Galaxy podcast, because I could talk about that for a good 3 hours. That was so fun. Oh, I want a baby Groot. Julian Gale, this guy, which is for a character that last week, was it last week he was introduced or the week before?
I think it was last week.
Okay. For a character that I initially didn't like, probably the first 15, 20 minutes I didn't like. I mean, by the end of the episode, I was really coming around to liking him. This episode, he's starting to gel with me quite a bit. Like, now I got a feeling for the character, and I'm really getting into it. And his scene with Liz, I really enjoyed. And he's starting to piece together the connections to Liz by dates, which is very smart. That's something you should do if you're trying to piece things together. And he believes Red has turned informant. He's pieced together that Red is obviously feeding them information. Were you surprised by that he arrived to that conclusion so quickly?
No, because he's been on the Reddington task force this whole time. I would assume he's kept up with and understood and documented and all this other stuff. I was just more taken aback by the dates. I was like, damn, like 2013? We're like going all the way back to 2013, so they're using the actual series dates to explain these events, which means that I guess the show's taking place in real time as it's unfolded. So we're in 2017?
Probably. I mean, they've never said it didn't. So maybe they're just reference points.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you're trying to figure out how old is it? Agnes, and the pregnancy takes 9 months, and the boat, and Yeah,
Man, I did not put that much thought into it. I'm like, sounds right.
What's the first time we've really had any like concrete?
Good job, Julian. That sounds right.
Well, I mean, it's the first time someone's actually set an actual hardcore date on the show. Like, this event happened on October 4th, 2013, or whatever he said it was. But it was sometime around that, when the show premiered, back in September, October of 2014 or 2013. So that's a timeline anchor point now. Doesn't mean that we're not in 2015 or 2016 or 2017 that we don't know, right. But those events actually happened on the same calendar date as the show actually aired. So
these events happen in real time. And the show's so much better than 24 Legacy, let me tell you. Let's do another podcast where we can talk about how awful that show is. All right, so Red turns informant. He knows that now, and he's going through a little back and forth with Liz, which I really liked, and he's been trying to reach her, and she's avoided him, and she's like, you know what, I'm just gonna go face him head on. And he tells her straight out, I already asked him for forgiveness. I wanted to give you the same chance. Just to slap that guilt on her plate. That's a smooth move, man.
Does she feel the guilt though? I mean,
yes, you can see it in her face. Yeah, I think Megan had that conveyed.
I don't know necessarily. I mean, she's gone on the run with him. She shot the AG. I think guilt is different for her now. The only thing she would feel guilty of is if there was some harm that came to Agnes, maybe some harm that came to Tom. But for this, I don't know if she's feeling guilty that these people are dead. They're criminals. She did her job. She's done a good thing. Why would she feel guilty about it?
There's still 86 people.
So?
That's a lot of people.
They're all bad guys.
Man, she's shown time and time again she has a conscience, and I think she feels for
She has a conscience for the sheriff that she shot in the bar because the sheriff didn't do anything wrong. The sheriff's a good guy. So she takes him to the hospital, and Red helps her in season 3. These people, these 86 people are all bad people, including Fowler.
We're trying to, they turned. They agreed to work with the government, and what did it get them? Iced, literally.
Hey, sometimes immunity deals don't work out.
86 times, specifically. Yeah, 86 times they don't work out. Probably a few more.
I just picked up on that. It's 86 bodies. They were 86th. Funny.
Yeah. Okay. You really should get another dose. Maybe you should go get another dose of whatever it is you're on. All right, Liz. Maybe you should get some from Ressler. I mean, he's got good stuff. You smile better, you feel better, everything's good.
Yeah.
Liz, we find out, is still a slick grifter. She swipes that letter with a rent check. I thought that was pretty cool. And finds out that it's Krilov's cargo container. Leads to the cargo container where all his equipment is, and they impound it, which forces Krilov to steal Dr. Orchard's equipment. That's right. I'm going to say his name different every time I say it.
Every single time.
That's just how I am.
Okay. Good to see Dr. Orchard again.
Yes, I was really excited to see her. I kind of wanted a little bit more. I was hoping for some memory returns, I guess.
Yeah, or at least her and the doctor had to work together on one of the patients that they were kind of... I didn't think it was going to be just steal her equipment. I was hoping it was going to be, I need your help. And they had to work together. I thought that would have been interesting.
Yeah. But she gets very involved in finding Ressler and even tortures the doctor, which I thought was really good, where you're the doctor, princess. That was my favorite line of the episode. I almost liked the little applause. I'm like, yes, give Liz more badass things to do. I'm a big fan. Do you think she would have injected him?
She actually put the needle in his arm. She just didn't push the plunger.
I know, but do you think she would have injected him?
Maybe.
That's not an opinion.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Alexander Kirk, not her father, stabs people with needles too that doesn't push the plunger, so... Must run in the family, I guess.
I think she would have done it. I think so. It's Ressler. I think she would have done anything to find him. She even threatens Hitchins herself. Now, do you think this is a smart move?
No.
To threaten Laurel Hitchins.
When she said that, she's like, you're guilty. You're a murderer. I was like, oop, that was probably too far to go. That's going to come back to bite somebody.
Yeah, a little bit. Especially because, she's in control. She still has quite a bit of power. Let's play this a little smarter, but everybody's high on emotion at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Liz gets pretty defensive when Hitchins is messing with her baby's hair. That's the way I look at it.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so Krilov wants to make a deal. He will give her the memories back for immunity. He also tells her that someone had her memories buried again 2 years ago after she had recovered too much about Raymond. So basically, he's like, I will help clear Ressler of these charges, and I will give you back the memories that I buried again 2 years ago. But he says it's a mutual acquaintance. It doesn't actually say Red by name. And when she confronts Red, Red says no. And if you believe the whole Red doesn't lie thing, that means it wasn't Red. So who do you think is the mutual acquaintance that did this?
I think it was a line. I don't think there was anything hidden 2 years ago.
Oh, you think it's a bluff?
It's a bluff.
Okay.
I think they'd have too much explaining to do if the writers actually did Cooper or somebody. I mean, who's the mutual acquaintance that it would be?
Tom. So you can forget all the awful things he did.
It's a possibility. There were people talking about it, that Tom could have hired the person to, brainwash her and get her on the boat and all that stuff and make baby Agnes and go on and so forth.
What? People were actually saying that?
Yeah, people were saying that if you believe that something happened 2 years ago through a mutual acquaintance, they were like, Tom was probably the one that brainwashed her so that she would love him again, basically. Because they never believed that they could actually get back together.
Okay, that goes beyond just brainwashing. That's a couple other crimes that I'm not comfortable even diving into. So please think about that one a little more deeply before you make that argument. I could see maybe trying to wash away some of the sins of the past, but, make me love you again, I don't even want to go there. That sounds very awful and soap opera-y.
It's the people that don't like Tom. They're probably saying it, too.
No, I just mean, if you really think about it, think of all that implies. That makes me uncomfortable. Not in a good way. Not in a cool, that's a cool show twist way. And just in a, that's icky.
Well, I mean, who else would be the mutual acquaintance? That's what I'm saying.
That's like your mom wants to make out with you, icky. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just icky.
I mean, it can't be Cooper, right? Cooper loves Liz, loves her like a daughter. Cooper would never do that to her.
He could if he thought it was in her best interest to protect her from something awful.
Maybe.
Like, or Kuwait, because you're really stuck in Kuwait. I don't want to remember Kuwait.
I don't know. To me, I think it's a throwaway line just to get her to hook, line, and sinker.
I don't think you throw that out there unless there's something behind it. So I don't have a person specifically in mind, but I'm guessing Katerina. That's who I'm going to throw out there. He's Russian. Katerina's Russian. I think Katerina's still out there and not wearing a fedora. So I'm going to say it's Katerina.
She slinks in the middle of the night and messes with her memory and disappears.
Did Ressler know that he was being messed with? He sure did not.
It was also shown to us on screen that he was being messed with and how it happened.
This hasn't been shown to us on screen, so that's my pick. Katerina.
All right.
God, you're a bitchy buddy.
I don't know how it would be a mutual acquaintance since Liz technically forgot her mother and her mom's dead, and they're not.
I'm pretty sure that would constitute a mutual acquaintance. Like, we both know your mama. I mean, you might not know her so well, but we've hung out.
And why? And if she's supposed, you can't say that. You can't say that because Katerina's dead. For all intents and purposes that we know, she's dead.
That's your personal logic. You can definitely say
that's the show logic. She walked into the ocean and died. Her body was never found.
Mutual acquaintance. If he knows that she's still alive, then it wouldn't apply. So yeah, mutual acquaintance works for that, and that's my pick.
All right,
there you go.
Fine.
God, go to bed. Jesus. Mr. Kaplan is really giving Red the heads up that she's heading to Lucerne to give Red's associate details on how Red actually got his son killed. This is actually a pretty sad and twisted story.
You can't say Krilov, but you can pronounce Lucerne correctly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is it Krilov? Because I don't think I've said it that way the whole time. So what do you think about this move where she's actually going to go and rat him out?
I thought this was heartbreaking, to be quite honest.
In which respect? On whose side?
Well, on both Kaplan and Red's side. I mean, here's this secret that Kaplan has had to keep about Reddington for so long, about how Hans's demise came about, the fact that the whole operation went sideways, and that it was never Red's intent for that to happen. And clearly he said it numerous times, like he doesn't want to kill people unless they deserve it. And I don't believe in violence. I abhor violence. So the fact that this happened to him, I could see how Red would be troubled by that. And the fact that it wasn't the way that he wanted to go into relationship with Hans's father. And then here you have Kaplan who has to spill this secret that she's carried for so long because literally it's come to that point between her and Reddington that she has to share that information. I mean, it's just heartbreaking all around.
Yeah, and I felt really bad for Werner, right?
Yeah, Werner, yeah.
Yeah, Werner von Hauser as the father, because that's just I can't even imagine how that story would be to hear. And it's brutal. Absolutely brutal.
And you're hearing it from somebody that you've never even met before. Just a ghost, a figment of the imagination, the mysterious protector of Reddington himself.
Yeah, it was just done that well that we were actually able to buy it. And that's because you had that wonderful intercutting of scenes. As you have Kaplan and Red telling the same story, just her to him and Red to Dembe. But they just did it by intercutting the scenes. And it worked really beautifully because you get a lot more feeling behind it. And I think that helped sell how tragic the tale was.
Mm-hmm. The editing on that was spot on. It was perfect. The transitions was great. It was really well done. Now we're going to flip this script because where Troy has been really bitchy for most of this episode, this one I'm going to have a complaint with. Red has an inside man. Okay? Right? He has this inside man. This happened, and I said, "Oh, Aaron is just going to groan out loud when he sees this."
Okay, I don't have a problem with the inside man, except, boy, this guy's really dedicated to work there for 25 years. That's fine. But
and
if he had
awesome shot too, by the way,
is an awesome shot, does it really fast. Totally get it. And when Red confronts Werner, and you can use the argument, you can try that. You know what? He didn't want to make a move until Red got there because Red wanted to talk to him first. You could make that argument. But I'm saying if Red has his right-hand man in his pocket and Mr. Kaplan is taking out people left and right and Red needs to put Kaplan down, why? Dear God, why? Would that right-hand man not take Kaplan out when she's there on his property at that minute? Why? You can't, because I'm sure he could text him a picture and be like, heads up, there's Kaplan. That just boggles my mind. Troy?
Because it doesn't make for good TV.
Am I wrong, though? You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Makes sense?
It does.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure I'm not crazy. Because everybody else is going back, well, that was a great twist. Da-da-da. I'm like, no. Stop. This math isn't adding up for me. And I'm sure everybody's going to tell me, well, Red wanted to try and confront. I get that, but it had nothing to do with Werner. He could have just taken Kaplan out right then and there. Problem solved. Just have to figure out what we're going to do for the next 5 episodes because, whoop, that problem is resolved.
Because they put themselves in that bind because she called and said, hey, I'm going to Lucerne. I'm going to go see him. I'm going to go talk to Hans's dad. You know why I'm here. And they're talking about Hans and the whole. It's like, Red, why don't you?
At the same time, I would be like, dear Nicholas. Nicholas, here is a picture of the lady that you need to shoot in the face when she arrives. #killer.
But see, the problem is that Red wasn't able to text Kaplan in that moment because he was in the air from the airplane. So depending on wireless networks and things of that nature, the phone might work, but maybe the texting didn't work, so he couldn't do it discreetly enough. And he was so bereft with the Hans story that his head just wasn't in the right place.
That's a cool way to spin it, my friend.
I've tried to do the best I can for our good friends.
Hey, you know what? I let it slip. I let it slide. I let it play out because it's TV and these things happen in TV. But if people want to talk about things that totally get the whole taking the post office down, I don't know why Troy has a problem with it. I don't have any problem with it. But this one, big problem because it doesn't make any sense. It plays cool, it feels fun and everything else until you stop and go, wait, what? And that's where I was. I'm like, that's really cool. Wait, what? That's what happened to me on Thursday night.
I was just more upset that Red ends up shooting him so quickly. I thought thered be more bonding conversation, talk between the two of them. Red's just like, I'm sorry that your son died, and I'm sorry you got to do this. And it was over that quickly.
I like that because at that point, there's no other way to go.
I just thought they'd have a little bit more conversation between the two of them. He did drive all the way there to do the deed himself. Mm-hmm. Which is also why he probably didn't phone it ahead, because he wanted to do it himself. He felt like it was a criminal partnership thing to do.
No. He knew Kaplan was on her way. She let her, hey, I'm on my way. And apparently she doesn't know that he's got a right-hand man there, and she's supposed to be so familiar with his business. That's a loophole I can excuse because, maybe he doesn't tell Kaplan every single aspect. I get that. But this whole thing, Kaplan called and said, I'm going to be there. I'm going to 8:15, oh my God, drive. And I will be there at 8:30. So you can go ahead and handle it any way you want. I'll see you when you get there, sweetie.
I find it funny that you picked 8:15. Just saying.
I just threw it in there. All right. Let's move on. And what'd you think? You seem to really like that she is ripping the safety net from Red, and I like that she's going after the task force. Do you like how this war is playing out?
I agree with Red. I don't understand why she'd be coming after Ressler. This is a Kate I don't understand. That has me going, that not cool. Not cool. Like, you're supposed to be protecting Liz. You promised Katerina that you'd protect Liz, and going after Ressler does not protect Liz. Therefore, what's up with that? So,
I totally get it, man. He's cutting
the
legs
I get it,
out
but I don't
from
like
under the
it.
bridge. Well, I don't like it, but I get it. And if you're fighting a war, you don't fight fair. Fight to win. Don't be one of those people that fight fair. Let me tell you a secret. Wars aren't won with fighting fair. Wars are won by cutting the legs out from under people. So I hear.
So you hear.
Mm-hmm. So I hear.
Is that why I have a limp today?
Okay. Are you going to cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war? That's a cool line.
Great line.
Is that's from something, and I did not look it up. I apologize.
Okay. Time out. First, you can't pronounce a guy's name right. And second of all, you do not know one of the famous lines from Julius Caesar.
Oh, that's what it was. Et tu, Brute. I'm sorry.
You are done, my friend.
I knew it was from Julius. I said I knew it was from something. I couldn't remember what it was until you said the name out loud. Then I'm like, Julius Caesar. And I just threw out Et tu, Brute. So that shows I know Julius Caesar, jackass. So shut it. We're done here. Go get your cough medicine. Go to bed. Red hates Mozart. Communist.
I know. What's up with that?
I don't know. I think that's a tragic misstep in his own character.
He must be a Chopin guy.
I like this little mystery thing that's going on. It almost felt a little bit like an Agatha Christie novel for the first half, where he finds this woman at a bakery that leads right to the train that Kaplan was on. He has this nice banter with the train conductor before he threatens to rob the train if he doesn't help him.
Loves Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yeah, Butch Cassidy reference. That
was nice.
That was great, yeah. I love that whole bit on how he got to where he was going, how he got to Lucerne. And then, of course, we got the story. Now, I guess you have Red at the end of the episode who is no longer able to utilize his escape plans that he has. Like, he's not leaving in the jet that he came on. He's getting out of there much lesser means. In fact, and he even gives up his sweet fedora to that kid as he's taking the peasant ride home. What do you think? You think this is going to change the game a little bit for the war? I mean, is this really turning the tide for Kaplan?
I think so. I mean, he's riding in the back of a truck with goats. I mean, this is not Reddington lifestyle travel here. So clearly, he has been crippled enough that he can't even get out of this country. So yeah, I think Kate's winning at this point.
Well, I don't know about winning, but she's definitely making a dent. She's putting a dent in everything.
But is this her putting the dent in the outer wall of the castle? Because God forbid the foot soldier that gets through the first wall only to be met with the second wall and the archers. Is this a first wall, crumbling versus an inner wall crumbling?
Well, I think she took down a couple walls this episode. She's really severing the ties with the post office. She's making people in the post office look bad until they back off. And she's taking out his very long-term relationships. So, I mean, she's really going after him, and she's got him in a corner, I think, to a degree.
Do you think Kaplan was the one that called and tipped off Julian Gale directly?
Yeah, probably.
Specifically asked for him to come to the ice rink?
But I don't know if that works like that. I don't think you can just make a tip and say, "Hey, please send that guy." I think he was just assigned because it's all Reddington related, and the guy's obviously obsessed. It was pretty good. Dembe didn't get a whole lot to do. He's just mostly listening to Red talk. That's really what he did this episode. But outside of that, anything else with Red that you want to talk about? Because Red had a lot of good stuff, but it was usually outside of that one big scene, it was mostly a lot of standing there looking ominous.
So he did order coffee, right, at that place. It looked like he got a pastry at the coffee shop, and I was hoping for another Jelly Donut reference, but just for a little throwback.
He's too focused.
He was.
Except on the train. He had a lot of fun on the train.
Sure did. Was he playing solitaire? What was he playing? I was trying to make it what he was doing there with the cards. You
worry about the weirdest things.
It gives you
Baccarat.
It gives you insight into their psyche and what calms a criminal.
If you're playing cards alone, it's got to be solitaire. Is there any other solo game?
I don't know. Maybe he was just reordering the deck. He was counting it out because he wanted to play an awesome game of Sheepshead with Kaplan's sister. In Wisconsin. Yeah, Sheepshead. It's what you play in Wisconsin.
I did not know that, and I wish I didn't now.
I'm just saying.
Take it back.
He could be practicing Sheepshead so he can go take on Kaplan's sister, and that's how he draws Kaplan out.
I'm going to go hop in my car Wisconsin. And go 88 miles an hour and pray that we can erase all of that. Okay.
I'm a euchre player personally, but...
Let's move on away from Troy's Games of the Week. Show's not over, so don't go anywhere, but please remember to download the Blacklist Exposed app for iOS and Android, and be sure to go even deeper into the mystery of Red Reddington by visiting our partner Blacklist site, theblacklistmbc.com. I just want to tell you guys, we only have 5 episodes left.
You do not do math. I don't know.
4.
I don't speak English, but you don't do math. We have 3 hours. 3. 2 weeks.
There's only 3 left?
3 hours, 2 weeks. That is it, my friend.
That's it?
That is it.
1, 2. Oh, my God. That's right. 3 hours of television. I guess I was hoping for a little bit more.
You never know.
Damn.
May 15th, we will find out if the season's renewed or not. Because that is when NBC makes their pitch for the upfronts.
I'm not worried about it.
I'm not worried about it either.
The story will get resolved either way. I know. Okay, let's talk about this because everybody will not stop talking about it. It's kind of bugging me. I firmly believe the show is fine. People are freaking out because they haven't been announced yet. The renewal, and I get that it's your favorite show. You love it. You just want to know. You want to know if you can plan on your snacks next year at Thursday. Honestly, I think the writer's strike has affected a lot of things. That's finally resolved. The impending writer's strike. They didn't know if that was going to happen.
Formerly impending writer's strike.
Yes, formerly. It's no longer there. It's resolved. That's not an issue. Upfronts are coming up. We will know before the season finale if the show is renewed. I am confident it will be. And even if it's not, I am confident they would let them resolve the series. So I would say, fans, stop worrying about that stuff. I know you care and you're passionate, and that's why you're so excited, but you're just going to drive yourselves mad. The word will come out soon, and we will tell you as soon as we hear it, and I'm sure you'll probably see it on the internet before then, but just have faith. I think it's going to be fine. Now, I don't know if if they come back next season would be the last season or what. I don't know, but I think for sure they're coming back. They're still doing well. Actually, the ratings are doing better than they were. So,
yeah, they're winning Thursday night at 9, and if you take into account the 7-day DVRs, still 10 million people that watch the show. 10 million people.
Yeah, it's doing okay.
And it's doing great really internationally, and that's the key.
Yeah.
So, anyways, By the time you're listening to this episode, it'll be 1 week until the 15th. So just enjoy the next episode. And
get into it.
Just have fun. Talk to each other. Stop asking questions that we don't have answers to.
And do more than Troy, and just don't bitch about it as much as Troy does. You know what I mean? Just try to enjoy this show. Have fun with it.
I haven't said anything about the renewal.
Pretty much not about that. You just bitch about everything else. But be an Aaron. Don't be a Troy. That's what I'm telling you.
That's right. Pink will always be better.
I don't know what just happened. All right, let's move on.
Pink and perfect.
You're making it sound not safe and cool for children. All right, go.
All right. Running a criminal organization, much like Red, is no easy feat. Being on time is especially crucial and could mean the difference between securing the deal or securing your fate. Thankfully, you will never be put in that situation thanks to the latest timepiece from Leonard & Church. Inspired by Red himself, the Reddington watch will ensure you are on time for that secret coffee shop meeting, random payphone call, or dead drop. Showcasing the famous red and black colors of the Blacklist TV show, the unisex 40mm stainless steel case will ensure the single-handed timepiece is always on the mark. Plus, the premium South American hide suede leather strap will keep it securely affixed on your wrist, especially around those shady criminal pickpocket grifter types. There are only a few of these limited edition Reddington watches left, so make sure you pick yours up today at leonardandchurch.com/blacklist. That's leonardandchurch.com/blacklist. Welcome to Red's Rhetoric, that part of the show where we play 2 scenes from this week's episode of The Blacklist, and then you get to vote which one's your favorite over at theblacklistexposed.com. Just look for the post for Dr. Bogdan Krilov. I said that slowly, so it made sense. Our first clip comes when Red is looking for a railway passenger.
Is everything okay, sir?
Marvelous. I have such a fondness for the little snacks from the bar car, the crackers and cheeses, the sausages. It's like camping. Try the peppered one there. It's surprisingly good.
Your friend has a gun.
He does, but he'll have little use for it so long as you assist me in locating a passenger. Her name is unimportant, as her ticket was likely purchased under any number of aliases, which is why I'll need to see all of the various passenger manifests leaving from Vinmeta.
I can't do that.
How long has it been since your rail line has had a robbery?
What?
A robbery, a stick-up, like the Old West.
Sir, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about making you stop this train while my associate and I rob your passengers of their money and jewelry. I must admit I've always been somewhat seduced by the idea. Bill Miner, the old gray fox, Butch Cassidy. But I've never really felt the itch until now. So you're going to walk back to wherever it is you walk to and get the manifest, or I'm going to stop this train, take your money, and give this rail line the most ridiculous PR disaster since the Newton boys robbed that mail train in Rondout.
Our second comes when he shares the story about Hans.
He was Werner's son, a formidable young man, early 20s, already in the family business. Understand this was 25 years ago now. I was younger myself, intent on building an empire, intent on becoming the powerful criminal the world had been told I already was. Werner was very impressive to me then. International weapons dealer, smuggler, a jack of almost every illicit trade one might imagine. I wanted an alliance to become Werner's most trusted associate.
Raymond crafted a plan based on an ancient principle. If you want your enemy to become your friend, create a problem for him and then solve it.
You are talking about Hans's abduction? You're telling me Reddington was behind it?
The idea was simple enough to make it appear as if Hans had been kidnapped, to send Werner a ransom demand. 10 million, or his son would be killed. At that point, I would intervene, talk to the brutal abductors, convince them they should release Hans unharmed. They would agree, of course, out of respect to me and my reputation as a man not to be crossed. Werner would be deeply grateful, and so my enemy would become my friend.
If you fancy the likes of Butch Cassidy, then vote #RedTrain this week. Or if you feel bad for Werner and the loss of his son, vote #RedHans.
Hey, Dembe Loyals, this is Hisham Tawfiq. Always remember that you are breathing for a reason. You are listening to Blacklist Exposed on Golden Spiral Media.
All right, and we're on the Special Agent Intel. And Troy, I just want to let you know I'm voting for Dr. Bogdan Krilov. Okay? All right, so let's move on to Stefan. Let's just call him Stefan. I will state the obvious. I don't want to mess up a listener's name. It was a mind-bending episode for some of the characters in the show. Aside of that, it felt like a transport episode where people were just moved from here to there. By air, by train, and by car. And poor Ressler got himself an involuntary journey into his own memory lane where Bogdan really did his thing. Like I threw the A in there. Like I mentioned last episode, I thought that Julian Gale was a guilt-driven individual, and now he invited Agent King to be part of that picturesque train rides with Red. Perhaps it's ironic that this episode is not one of the more memorable ones. Well, you and Troy can hang out on that train ride.
Mm-hmm. Grace said, love the episode. Nice twist, making it Ressler whose memories were played with, and love seeing Liz stick up for him. Gale still really creeps me out. Really odd guy. Even though I love the episode, I always do, I couldn't help but feel like it was a filler episode. Hope next week is good.
I love when people call Julian Gale creepy because all of his talking and mannerisms are just like Red. So,
yeah.
Just saying. Wendy Davies, what a weird episode. What is Lizzie's obsession with sharp objects?
Yep.
Why did Lizzie go bug-eyed when Gale gave her the date of when the original Red Task Force was disbanded? What does she mean?
That's because we all went bug-eyed. We went, oh, they're referring back to the pilot. That's interesting.
The Blacklister wasn't really a Blacklister, just a means to get at Kaplan. Yeah, I actually didn't think there was a number. Troy said there was a number. I didn't see a number. So
there's a number.
Okay. Hey, I believe you. I believe you, Internet Detective. Just a means to get at Kaplan. So for me, that doesn't count. It's not your list, Wendy. So it counts. As far as diddling with Ressler's mind, would Kaplan necessarily know about his obsession with Reven Wright?
That's another one where I was scratching my head. That's why I didn't understand it. Why would she know about Reven Wright specifically?
I would think so because I think Red knows, and Red would probably tell Kaplan. So there's some substance there. Or they could have found that out while going through his memories, maybe.
Maybe, okay.
Yeah. So that could be. I get what you're saying, though, Wendy. That makes sense.
But they had to call her. They had to call him ahead of time to get him to come to Philadelphia about the Reven Wright case. So that somebody had.
Oh, that's right. So they did know about that. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how did
then I would
Kaplan tie to that?
You know what? When all else fails, the answer is it's TV.
It's TV.
Did she and Red chat about it over a cup of cocoa one night? I don't know. But it was one hell of a twist when we all thought he would target Lizzie. Yes, I was actually legitimately surprised with that twist, and I liked it. It was good.
It was good.
Because it wasn't what we expected.
Yeah. Carissa said, every killing takes a bit more from Red. He's become the criminal people thought / said he was. Red's complexity continues to draw me in. I'm still waiting to hear about when Red officially broke bad. Was it the fire? Something else that night? Another night? He wants more than anything to know what happened that night. I do too, but I suspect the story ends when we know that.
Kara Adler, just finished the episode. I have to say, wow! Wow. Did Ressler's rocky trip down memory lane remind anyone else of Memento?
Me. I love that movie.
That's a great movie. It's especially great if you watch it backwards. Think about it. I just had a eureka moment. So when the doc was manipulating Ressler's memory, he had equipment on his head and disheveled his hair.
What?
I said the same thing. Yep.
We gotta take down that. We gotta take down that doctor now.
His hair moved. Love seeing Liz play a bit outside the lines. Hope she cancels that check. Not the same thing. But the profiler versus profiler showdown, I think she lost that one. I don't think she lost yet. I think there's more to come with that, and I think she's going to prevail.
I like the tug of war, though. I like the tug of war.
I do.
Annalise Olivia, new day, cool head. The fact that Kaplan knew the story but did not know that Nicholas was working for Red is a big WTF. Look at that. You have a fan, Aaron. For the past 4 seasons, we were sold a different tale. Kaplan was Red's closest confidant, working for him and with him since the start. Since she knows everything about Red's organization, I can buy Dembe not knowing because he started working for Red maybe a decade ago. But Kaplan, no.
No. Every time I hear no, I can't even hear no without hearing clue. It's a shame. It's a sad, sad shame. Karen Miller, did anyone notice that Liz was referred to as Princess again?
I did.
Yeah, and she threw it back.
It was sweet.
She threw it back at the doctor, which I thought was great. I believe Luther Braxton called her that, and Alexander Kirk called her the Princess.
Yep.
But why would the doctor refer to Liz as Princess? Seems out of character for him to call Liz that just to be snide. I think there's something to the princess thing.
I think that it's tied into, it's something I think that goes around a little bit in the Russian circles. Like it's like a pet name or like a term of endearment, which I don't
Princesses?
think. Yeah. Especially in that, like the Romanov culture and coming up in that royalty kind of thing, like early Russia kind of stuff. So maybe there's something to your theory that Katerina and the doctor worked together. Possibly. Could be. Could be.
You're up. Better up.
All right.
While you're telling me I'm right, better up.
Judy Miller said, "Hey, everyone. Thought this was a very good episode. Number 1, I love the Ressler twist and did not see that coming. Neither did we. 2, I noticed how much better the show has been without Tom in it lately, and in this episode without Agnes. I thought Lizzie rocked, and she was able to be a badass. Continue to think those two characters, Tom and Agnes, SLOW the storyline down. Way too much. Kaplan's getting even more evil, and I cannot begin to predict how this is going to end. Number 4, didn't like the idea.
Wait. Hang on. I don't mean to cut you down, but let's go back to number 2. Continue to think those two characters, Tom and Agnes, slow the storyline down way too much. Agreed. That's all.
Half agreed.
No, I totally agree. I do think Liz and Agnes works. I can make that work. I do think Tom slows the story down whenever he's on, but that's just me.
I think Tom, when he's playing the role that he's supposed to play when he's not with Liz, is fine. I think Agnes slows the story down, as I do with all children in television shows.
Well, I've been steadfast on that for a long time, but it's not like they're going to just toss it. It's not like Walking Dead. You can't just toss the baby into the field of zombies and you're rid of it. You got to actually explain it. And so baby's here.
And kidnap it.
All right, I'll
take it to the top of a roof. Oh, wait.
What? Jesus, man.
Well, they've already done that.
All right, let's go to 4.
Didn't like the idea that perhaps Lizzie had an implanted memory of killing her father. That's an idea. Never thought of that. Was the father killing an implanted memory? Whoa, my mind just blew up in my brain.
That would make Red a liar. Because he's flat out told her you killed your father.
But that's her truth. So for it to be
he's flat out said that she killed her father.
Right, but in her mind, that's a truth because the memory has been implanted.
The memory of Red? No, because when we saw it, that means, well, I guess we saw Ressler doing, okay.
It's an idea.
I guess there's a possibility, but you start doing that dance and it gets really close to Dallas.
It does. It sure does. But that is interesting.
Mm-mm. I don't like, I woke up and it was all a dream. Oh, hell no.
Oh, the Newhart thing worked great. It was funny.
Okay, that was a fluke, but it's not going to work in the Blacklist.
No. First off, I don't believe it for a second. Whew, okay, neither do we. But it is interesting. But I could see it as a way for Kaplan to try to pry Lizzie away from Red. I don't particularly like the powers that be even bringing up this possibility. I really dislike playing around with canon facts in the show, but it was softly played, so I didn't react to it too strongly.
I agree with that. Yeah.
All right. Number 5, Red Spader was fantastic. He and Dembe are a great team. Mm-hmm. 6, I continued to dislike the personality of the new FBI guy. Give him a chance. He'll grow on you.
He's Red.
7, I was very saddened when Lizzie corrected Red when he said we, referring to him and Lizzie. She apparently does not consider them a we, and that these problems are for Red to bear alone.
I'm with her. I'm absolutely with her.
The
problems are not hers. She just has to deal with them.
Exactly.
Man. People keep acting like she's so ungrateful. Like, he has kind of ruined her life, man. If you really think about it, I wouldn't want to deal with. I mean, she has a caring for him, but she also has a caring for herself, man. Damn.
And if he ends up being the American that kidnapped her and then took her and got her in a fire and got her burnt and shot and blah, 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 then technically he has ruined her life from the beginning.
Exactly.
I love the affirmation from Red about the possibility that he had been framed and only became the criminal he is to live up to the reputation people had already been told about him. I like that conversation too. I thought that was quite interesting. And I believe to accomplish some larger goal, maybe to protect Lizzie, though it seems like it should be a bit more than that. I think so too.
I think it is. I think we just don't know yet.
I think some people said he was a criminal and then he became a criminal versus that he actually was a criminal. If that made any sense, because it didn't make any sense in my brain.
he did allude to that. He basically said that, he wasn't what they thought he was, and he had to become that to have the organizational ties to take care of Lizzie when everyone came for him.
Exactly.
Or came for her. So he did it to protect her because he was already being painted in that picture, and it does feel like he was branded a traitor. And maybe he wasn't a traitor. Maybe Katarina set him up, and he had to become this guy to just take care of it in the future.
Because that was my next question. Like, why did he have to become a criminal, or why was he being framed as a criminal? So, yeah, maybe Katarina did set him up. That's interesting.
It feels that way to me, like she set him up as a traitor. And he maybe didn't do anything to begin with. He did all these awful things later. He was forced into it, as they say.
Gotcha.
Leanne, Kaplan crossed the line tonight. Finally? Going after innocents like Ressler in order to attack Red and leave him vulnerable.
I agree.
I get that. Yeah. All right. You got me. You're right. These sideways attacks will only serve to destroy those in the task force, not her Teflon target. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think she's playing the smart game. I don't necessarily agree with her tactics, but I get what she's going for. I'd say she can no longer say she's protecting Agnes with a straight face, but Reddington already made sure her face would never be straight again. Damn.
Damn.
Throw down the gauntlet, why don't you, Thor? Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I get it. I'm with you. I get it.
So in that case, are you Team Kaplan or Team Red for the question this week there, Aaron?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Based on what I know, I'm always going to err on the side of justice, and so therefore it'll probably be Kaplan as of right now. Look, I love Red, but if you're asking me if I was in this really, really real world, now are you asking me in this world, or are you asking me just as a fan?
You're a fan. You're watching the show. You're answering the profiling question of the week. Team Kaplan or Team Red? At this moment.
I'm going Team Kaplan because I think that would be more fun to watch. If Kaplan wins, dismantles, and then the next season he has to rebuild and come take her down, that sounds like fun to me.
Okay.
So there you go. There's my answer.
Well,
because here's my thing. Okay, so Red always wins. Red always comes out ahead. You finally have a formidable
just because Nicholas can take out everybody around Werner.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Red wins again. Yay!
Yeah, exactly. So to have him knock down a peg, big time, and have Kaplan maybe take his place, like maybe the FBI even makes a deal with Kaplan because Kaplan can supply the same names as Red, right?
Okay.
She knows the same infrastructure. She can flip just like Red. She maybe even makes that deal with them so that he's in the outs, and now he has to reclaim his own throne to be there for whenever the reckoning comes for Lizzie. I think that would be a cool story point to watch play out because everybody thinks Red's ultimately going to prevail. I think it would be really fascinating and bold to have him lose.
Yeah, I'm still playing for the Red dies in the finale of the series. I think that would be interesting.
Well, we're still in the season, though.
I know.
Unless we're told otherwise. We're still in the season.
Since Aaron and I always disagree, I am going still Team Red because of this week's episode. You don't mess up Ressler's hair, ever. You're done, Kaplan. I hope Red takes you down.
Oh,
sorry, Susan. I like Susan. But you're going down, Kaplan.
I like them both. I'm just really happy that Diego's hair moves. I've 100% thought that he was just complete. I thought he was a sculpture, like an Adonis in some way. I mean, he's a very perfectly put together man, and his hair never moved either.
I was hoping that the memory technique was going to fail because the thing wasn't close enough to his head because the hair was blocking it.
They couldn't even put it over his head. Like, man. But I like the look on the thing, where just kind of like a clockwork orange feel.
Totally.
Really dug that.
Awesome.
That was cool. All right, I think that's going to do it for this episode, man.
Yeah.
Because I thought we had 5 more to go. We only have 3 more to go. The season just got shorter.
Buckle up. It's going to be a quick ride to the finish.
I am pretty excited. And we will probably, I'm sure, have an interview after the season's over. Not sure with what, but keep an ear on that. And that's going to conclude this episode. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at the Blacklist GSM, where we typically live tweet during the East Coast feed, and we use the show's hashtag the Blacklist. This past week, and I believe
next week too.
This coming week, we won't be able to live tweet. Now, we want to tell you why, okay? Last week, it's because Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and we were too busy with our a-hole friends. This week, because of commitments, my daughter's graduating college. Applause for my daughter. And so we're going to have to record the show really quick. We're going to have a quick turnaround, which means we're going to miss probably a couple things. Well, Troy will. I'll be fine. And so we're recording it pretty quick. So therefore, we won't be able to live tweet, because if you do that, you really can't pay attention to what's going on. And so we're going to not be doing it this week, but we will definitely be doing it for the finale.
Absolutely.
So be ready for that. We have enjoyed that throughout the season with you guys. For the people that do partake, we just want to let you know, so you're not like, what? These sons of bitches ain't doing nothing. That's why.
I tried to do it on the West Coast feed after we got back from the movie, but I fell asleep. Sorry.
Well,
it's really late on the West Coast.
Next week's show will probably come out a little earlier too. So
yeah.
Look for that. I think it'll probably be whenever Troy gets to do it.
That's the benefit. That's the benefit. Yes, it'll be out maybe a day earlier.
You never know what's going to happen. But I know my daughter's graduating college.
And it's my daughter's birthday, so it's all about the daughters.
Well, apparently, look at you trying to steal the thunder.
Well, you said we had multiple things going on, and then you only talked about yours. So
yeah, because mine's important. Mine's graduating school, education. Yours just getting older.
That's right.
Man, we're all getting older
and crankier. Tween years, man. Tween years. God help me.
And hopefully, Troy will go get some antibiotics. Maybe get over that. What do you have, bitchitis?
Oh, my gosh.
Get rid of that a little bit. That'd be good. Smooth that out.
Been going on a week now.
All right. Well, let's wrap the show up.
Yeah, don't forget to follow us on Tumblr, Instagram, and join the Facebook group. I added a few new members in the last couple of weeks, so keep on coming. Just search for The Blacklist Exposed. Talk about the show, the podcast, or share your favorite memory.
You can also subscribe to the podcast in Apple Podcasts. That's right. It's no longer iTunes. Or listen from the website. But if you're really on the go, if you're in a goat cart, make sure you download our app for iOS and Android, powered by Spreaker. You will also find all the intel and analysis about this episode for Dr. Bogdan Krilov by visiting theblacklistexposed.com. Big thanks for listening. Don't forget to answer our profiling question. What are you on, Team Kaplan or Team Red?
Oh, goat cart. I thought you said go-kart. Nice one. I like it.
Krychek. Come on. Come on. That was good. Some bitch.
Krilov. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye, guys.
Until next time, I'm Agent Troy Heinritz. That's at Troy Heinritz on Twitter. And if you want to learn more about me, just visit, about.me/Troy Heinritz.
And I'm Agent Aaron Peterson. You can hear me talking about movies and TV on the Hollywood Outsider podcast, as well as Remake This Movie Right. We are available at thehollywoodoutsiders.com or on Twitter at H_outsider. Be sure to subscribe, download the app, submit your feedback, but most importantly, keep yourself off of the Blacklist.
The Blacklist Exposed is a Golden Spiral Media production. Find more of our great podcasts at goldenspiralmedia.com/podcasts.